champions! Champions of Europe finally! History made in Istanbul! The treble complete! The greatest story in club history has an ending! And what a final chapter!
Hello and welcome back to Typical City. Chelsea 1 and Manchester City 1. It's a game that I feel is incredibly detrimental to the form and the momentum that Manchester City had achieved in recent weeks. It's a massive blow. And it's not just the result, it's the manner of the result. The performance is a killer blow to Manchester City, this is, because I think I feel like I'm walking away from that game like, yeah, I'll take a point. Got a point out of that. Before the game, you asked me how would you feel about getting a point. I'd be like, piss off. No way. Win this game. Chelsea are not anything to worry about. Mid-table fodder. Do you know what I mean? Bang average in the middle of that Premier League. That's where they belong to be right now, because the form and inconsistencies and the unreliability of Chelsea this season, I was very much hoping I would see that again. But once again, they've pulled out a performance and almost a tactical masterclass from Pochettino. So you've got to take your hats off to him and say well done to him for once again having Pep Guardiola's number, in knowing how to nullify Pep Guardiola and hit us on the break and just steal something from the game. And it didn't even feel like they stole it. They should have won that game. With the chances that they had over the course of the 90 minutes, it was a much better performance from Chelsea. It wasn't exactly the most scintillating, attacking, forthright performance from Chelsea, but they didn't have the players to play the way that we play. They weren't there to play possession football. They were there to absorb pressure, sit back, good shape, solid, and know full well that the amount of space and the expansive defence that Manchester City, like the way that we like to set up, is so open and susceptible to counter-attacks that you will get your opportunities, Chelsea. Like every team this season have had their opportunities against us. So many teams are scoring against us. And in particular, what's most infuriating is going 1-0 down again in the Premier League. Everton, we went 2-1 down to Newcastle, Everton, Brentford, and now Chelsea. There was games before it. It's so infuriating, but it's not like it was a sucker punch. It wasn't a blowout of nothing, a goal against the run of play. You could see it coming. We weren't creating anything. We weren't creating any sort of chances whatsoever to go, oh, what, that's it. Petrovic has been tested. Oh, what a save from Petrovic. Oh, what another save from Petrovic. Oh, what a block from Disasi, or anything like that. I was never saying any of those things in the watch-along. Not a word. It was like, okay, we've got the ball, final third, and we've given it away. The crosses that came into that box were atrocious throughout the whole game. There were so many culprits. The issue is Kevin De Bruyne, who, by the way, statistically attempted 22 crosses in this game. 22 crosses, of which 8 were considered accurate. I think that's high. I didn't feel like he got 8 on target. And the ones that he did, I was saying it in the watch-along, the crosses from Kevin De Bruyne, is one of them just needs to be on the money. That's all it takes with Kevin De Bruyne, because when he gets it right, fuck me, does he get it right. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those players that he's such a high-risk footballer. His distribution is high risk. He has a tendency to give it away, and it doesn't always come off. And this game was exactly like that. A game where Kevin De Bruyne was just trying, get that ball in, cross, over everybody's head. Goes the near post, Haaland's gone back post. Time and time again, eventually he gets it right. Bang on the money in that second half. Erling Haaland, what you doing, mate? That's such a sitter. And not by Erling Haaland standards. That's a sitter by Premier League strikers standards. That is a golden opportunity that he's completely fluffed his line. That would have made it 1-1 much earlier into the second half, more like 70th minute. 20 minutes to go. We'd probably go and nick something. We'd probably go and nick a win. We didn't deserve a win. We absolutely did not deserve a win. But Manchester City managed to keep hold of that ball really well, as we always do. But we did nothing dangerous with it whatsoever. Jeremy Doku down the left-hand side was so wasteful with his end product. He was getting to the byline so often. Sometimes he'd try a cute little pass. Didn't come off. Back post cross over everybody's head. Into Petrovic's hands. Phil Foden on the other side was no better. Crosses going in over everybody's head. Bernardo Silva. There was a moment where Kevin De Bruyne crossed the ball And it was such a bad one that thank God Bernardo Silva was switched on all the way over everybody's head to the edge of the area. Bernardo Silva collects it. Oh, thank God, we've got another opportunity. He crosses it over everybody's head. So it's just a fucking game of tennis. Crossing across the face. Petrovic was just doing this all game. It's like, what the fuck? I've got nothing to do. I've got absolutely nothing to do. Do you know what I mean? We didn't test him. And anytime the ball did go near him, he looked susceptible. He's not a great goalkeeper, in my opinion. I think he's flappy. Do you know what I mean? When he did have to punch it, he was flapping at it. So why didn't we put him under more pressure? But how many times was the cross just not good? Our goal came from a bad cross. That went over everybody's head to the back post, and Kyle Walker had to get it back into the danger zone because it was such a bad cross to begin with. It lands, fortunately, to Rodri, who smashes it into the back of the net and celebrates smashing his forehead like an absolute lunatic. Like, he was just having a headbanger of a game, and Conor Gallagher just is a nightmare to play against. Rodri just never seems to have a good game against Conor Gallagher. He never seems to have a good game. He's such a good, like, tenacious player, Conor Gallagher, and go and watch my preview and what I said about the style, the game plan for Chelsea. It was there. The game plan was there. I don't think it even worked that as well as it could have done, but it was clear that they wanted to stop the ball. They let Ruben Diaz have the ball. You can have it, mate. We trust you to not pull off a worldie of a pass. You can have it. You've got to get that ball to Rodri. We're going to man-mark him out of the game, and we're going to man-mark whoever the second pivot is in defensive midfield alongside Rodri. Tonight it was Manuel Akanji. They did that reasonably well, okay, but we were still able to break the lines. Alvarez came and collected the ball a couple of times. De Bruyne had to come and collect it. We didn't actually struggle building up our play. That was not the criticism, and that was my biggest concern for this game, and we did all right in that. I was surprised at how well we were able to do that, but in the final third, fuck me. Just the amount of crosses that come in were just so poor and wasteful. And it wasn't always crosses. Sometimes it was a cute little pass, just overran. And Doku just, like, I don't know whether he was... It felt like Doku had Pep in his ear today saying, go out there and play like Jack Grealish. Slow the game down. Don't play the Doku way. Play the Jack Grealish way. Slow it down and try and lure out defenders and keep the ball. And he seemed like he was stuck between two minds today, Doku. He received that ball. Sometimes he would beat his fullback, and when he did, the delivery was never good enough. I can't think of a single cross from Jeremy Doku that was on the money, right on the money to cause a problem for Chelsea. Not one. I can't think of any. I'm trying to think. There might have been one in the first half from Erling Haaland where he 50p headed it over the bar. Other than that, I'm struggling. And I want to defend these City players, but the crosses were just fucking abysmal. Honestly, I'm infuriated, and I think Kevin De Bruyne, not just De Bruyne's crossing, I think his link-up play was just a bit all over the place. It felt like there was no cohesion. Like I was saying, it was always near post when Haaland had gone, and back post, and then it was back post, and Haaland had sprinted to the near post, and the one moment that you're thinking it's going to be 1-1, Haaland misses his chance, and it's a massive blow in the title race, this. And part of me is wondering about the psychological effect of watching Liverpool and Arsenal before this, and it's never good. It's never good going into a game having watched your rivals win their matches, and normally it never seems to affect us. We don't tend to look and worry. The reason why I think the City players will be looking at their results isn't just the fact that they won, it's the way they won. Liverpool convincingly beat Brentford, convincingly beat them, put 4 past them. And Darwin Núñez has found his shooting boots this season. Diogo Jota, both of those players went off at half-time, by the way, so from a City fan perspective, you like that, mate. Hopefully they're injured, because that's massive for their season if they've lost those 2 players. I have a feeling that's probably not going to be the case, but still, a massive blow if they have lost those players. But if they've not, Núñez is putting it in the back of the net every time he seems to get an opportunity. And Arsenal, 11 goals in 2 games. So it's like, how can you not look at that? How can you not pay respect to Arsenal and go, shit, we're in a title race. We're in a massive title race right now. And Arsenal look way more threatening than they did last season. This was the stage of the season where cracks started to appear in Arsenal's style of play. The results weren't convincing. They were scraping wins, Arsenal, at this stage of the season. And I know you don't want to hear it, City fans, but I'm here to provide you with my honest opinion. They are much more potent this season. They look way more threatening than City do. They've scored 11 goals in 2 games. How can you not call that threatening? How can you ignore that? You can't ignore that. Let's be honest, if Nkunku came onto the pitch for Chelsea as a substitute appearance. If he comes onto that pitch without being so rusty, they'd have been 2-0 Chelsea. Sterling got a chance, dinked over the top, which he overran and Edison intercepted it. Chelsea had 3 or 4 clear-cut opportunities before City even had a sniff of an opportunity that we can go, yes, that was a genuine chance. And that was a massive shock to the system for City players, for City staff, for City fans, who were all watching that, thinking that was the result isn't that big a blow. The result isn't. The result's actually a good one. You know, a point from this game, I'll take that. The way it panned out before the game, no way. I'd tell you to fucking jog on, mate. Not a chance. Do I think that a point would be a good point at the start of this game? No way. How the game played out, though, I'll be like, oh, yes. A point after that? No, yeah, no problem. I'll take that. Because it's still in our hands. We can still win the league. Do you know what I mean? All we have to do, I say all we have to do, is go to bloody Anfield and win. Play like that and you're going to get the fucking floor wiped with your blue shirt City players, because I'm telling you right now, you cannot turn up to Anfield and play like that. Too passive, too submissive, not aggressive enough, too slow, tempo, it's got to be higher. It's got to have a higher quality to your end product. You know, you've got to be crossing that ball with a bit more authority, a bit more creativity and a bit more finesse. You know, just lumping it in like that. It was hit and hope. It was get it in and hopefully all 7'3" of Erling Haaland will get on the end of that. Mate, like, you've got to give him more chances than that. And the one chance he gets in criticism of Erling Haaland, he's got to score that. So it was like, who do you stand out with this player? For me, Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake kept that game from being 2-3-0. Some of the tackles that he played in that first half, Cole Palmer, there was an opportunity for him. Big Nathan Ake tackle prevents it from being 1-0. Early warning signs were there from the get-go from Chelsea. Right from the start, the warning signs were there. Massive warning signs. And Nathan Ake mopped up after us. And thankfully, Nathan Ake kept the game close, kept it at 0-0. He wasn't anywhere to be seen for their opportunity. Given away. I know what people are going to do. They're going to blame Kyle Walker again because that's just the easy way to look at it, isn't it? Let's blame Kyle Walker because he was the nearest player to the Sterling shot. That's the easy way to do it. But in reality, the amount of mistakes that happened before that, giving the ball away, as soon as you give the ball away right now at City, we are so open. With Nathan Ake and Ruben Diaz are just so open. There's space for Nicholas Jackson to run into. Sterling was ahead of Kyle Walker already. So Kyle Walker had to go full sprint. He got back. Sterling spun. You know Sterling's low centre of gravity. Any defender's momentum would have gone past Sterling at that point. Sterling can turn instantly. He turns, and it's a good finish from Sterling. You've got to give credit where credit's due to Sterling for a good bit of attacking play. But the space that was afforded to Chelsea to be able to create that opportunity was not something unfamiliar. Teams have been doing that to us all season. And that's not where I'm annoyed about. That's not what I'm annoyed about today. It's the other end of the pitch. It's your Kevin De Bruyne's, it's your Phil Foden's, your Jeremy Doku, and your Erling Haaland gilt-edged chance has to be put into the back of the net. But Haaland's living off scraps, mate. He was living off scraps in that game. You know, we'll talk about Haaland being anonymous and is he the right player for this team. It's becoming a question that's a reasonable question. Well, the answer might have 2 different answers depending on who you're talking to. But in reality, the question's not an unreasonable question anymore. Last season, it was stupid. What Jamie Carragher was saying was fucking nonsense. Has he joined the wrong team? But right now, is it a question of, should we play Alvarez up top? You know, and go back to having a little bit more of a false nine-esque type player in there. You know, and bring Bernardo Silva on. And Haaland has to have a couple of time on the bench just to learn. He's not undroppable. There's no player undroppable. I personally think Haaland needs a couple more games. A couple more games because, you know, next week or Tuesday against Brentford, I'll be doing a watch-along, so come and join me for that. You know he'll play in that game, and most likely Erling Haaland will score 2, maybe a hat-trick, and we'll be going, how can you drop this man? How can you drop this man? And because of that, because he comes up with answers to those types of questions, that's the killer with Erling Haaland, is he'll turn up next week and you'll never shy away from opportunities. And tonight he was living off scraps. So when I say, should we start reverting back to the system that was working before Erling Haaland came back from injury, it's not a diss at Erling Haaland. It's more of a credit to how well the rest of the team were playing without him. It's not because of him. It's because we were playing brilliantly. You know, the football was really good. We were creating so many chances. So many. You know, we were talking 20 plus shots every game. You know, and the amount of chances that now were being created, we're resorting to outside of the box chances. Lucky ricochets from crosses that end up Rodri having to thunderbustard into the back of the net from a rebound that was fortunate that it landed to Rodri. Those situations we can't play a system based on luck and getting chances like that, scraps. It needs to be more clinical. We are not penetrating defences as well as we could be. And I am starting to question how Haaland can benefit City. How can he bring forth a better ability to pick locks? You know, it's so hard to decide what to do, because I guarantee next week against Brentford he'll fucking score. He'll score, and he'll make it look like a stupid thing to say to even suggest dropping Erling Haaland. And that's the player that he is. But maybe it's a case of, right, well, Pep, mate, I feel like Pep got it wrong today. And if you aren't going to play Alvarez in his best position, then for me, he shouldn't have played where he played today. That was a Bernardo Silva game for me. And I very rarely question Pep Guardiola, and I almost definitely never say, you got that wrong, Pep. But I felt he got that wrong. I felt that was a Bernardo Silva game. And when's the last time Bernardo Silva played a big game? I know Chelsea are not, your traditional big six anymore. They're not part of that anymore, really, are they? They're 10th. They're mid-table fodder. That's on paper. But in reality, we know what this Chelsea side, the quality in their team, there is enough players there to pose a threat. We found that out at Stamford Bridge. So for me, Pep should have respected this game a little bit more and played Bernardo Silva, because Bernardo Silva's the best big game player there is for Manchester City. The engine. They always see every game that's a big game. Bernardo Silva's covering 12 kilometres, 13 kilometres, sometimes 14 kilometres he did in a Manchester derby once. Ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's what we needed today. Alvarez didn't have a bad game, mind you. I felt like he came back, but it's just he doesn't have that Bernardo Silva quality. You know, that ability to receive. And I felt like we were a better team when he came onto the pitch. We created a little bit more. But if we'd started with that, there might have been a little bit more hope in creating more clear-cut chances. And that's the thing, clear-cut. You're going to look at the stats. I don't know what they are, by the way, but the stats will probably say a lot of Manchester City shots, but how many actually tested Petrovic? How many genuinely tested him? Frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. And Liverpool and Arsenal have absolutely got the impetus to go forward now. They are going to take this as a massive, massive ego boost, a confidence boost. They're going to be buzzing after this. And we know as City fans that we were due a dropped point here and there. This would have been our 12th game in a row that we'd won. You don't always win them all. But, I mean, how many runs of Liverpool? Liverpool haven't gone on an 11-game winning streak. Arsenal haven't gone on an 11-game winning streak. You know, so as the season draws closer and closer to the end, we just keep close. Stay close to them. 1 point, 2 points. Even if it's a game in hand, just stay within distance. And we are right now, so it's not all doom and gloom. Season's very much wide open. No way is this the result that spells the end of City's title chances. No way. Absolutely not. But the fact is, it felt like it had been coming. You know, against Brentford and against Everton, we were struggling to break down that door against a team with a low block. But Chelsea weren't just the only team. Like, you know, your Brentford and your Everton with their low blocks, they didn't offer enough going the other way. You know, teams are now being given the blueprint. Chelsea have set the blueprint of how to beat Manchester City and low block. Go for the low block. And have you got the speed and power and pace to hit us on the break? And the amount of times that Chelsea did that to us today and continued to do it in the second half, that's what alarmed me more than anything. It was like Pep hadn't even educated the players to how to nullify that. There was no answer to what the problem was in the first half because it was still there in the second half. But eventually, once the 65th and the 75th minute approached, Chelsea started to think, right, we don't really need a goal. Do you know what I mean? A 2-0 would be lovely for Chelsea, but they didn't need it. 1-0 was enough, and they started to have more of a mentality of hanging on. Let's see what we can get now. We've got a 1-goal lead. And that gave City a bit more of an opportunity to keep Chelsea back rather than Chelsea going forward. But that first 15 minutes of the second half, Chelsea had chances. Multiple chances. Nkunku had 2. Edison had to make a big save. Again, one-on-one chances from Edison. Can you drop a like on the stream, Blues? As much as I don't feel like I deserve likes, Manchester City don't deserve likes after that performance, but please do. It massively helps with the channel and the community that I'm building here. It's amazing to see the watch along The chat in the watch along again was really, really good to see, but not the greatest performance in truth. A real dagger in the heart for Manchester City fans, considering how the league was starting to look, the form that we were in, the momentum that we'd achieved. I wouldn't quite say the pendulum has swung to Liverpool and Arsenal's favour. I don't feel like that. I still don't feel like that. The league table doesn't suggest that to me. With a game in hand, we have to play Arsenal. We have to play Liverpool, albeit at Anfield. But those games now are going to be ridiculous. Just ridiculous games. Like, the importance now of those games, it's basically a title decider. Whereas, you know, if City were to lose both of those games, then we are out of the title race, effectively. But win them, and I can't see anyone else but City winning it. So it's going to come there. Simple as that. I feel like it really is as simple as that. It's going to be a massive 2 games of Premier League football to be played. One at the Etihad, one at Anfield, which is not a good place for us to go, is it? It's not. And I don't know what to make of it. It's going to be really interesting to see how City bounce back against Brentford, because I thought Brentford offered a bit of a threat to Liverpool going forward. In the first half, it was quite an even game until Liverpool scored, and then Brentford their heads went a little bit. They collapsed a little bit after they went 1-0 down, and the chances stopped coming. But they still posed a threat going the other way. We've already beaten Brentford reasonably comfortably thanks to a Phil Foden hat-trick at the G-Tech Community Stadium. And I felt like we were good. So the fact that we kept Ivan Toney quiet, again, good. But they're going to do exactly what Chelsea did. Exactly. Neil Maupay, the little pest that he is, he'll be running around buzzing about that defence, keeping everybody busy. Ivan Toney will be a focal point for the counter-attack. So we're going up against it against Brentford. The quality of players is what the difference is today. Because I thought Disasi was a rock. He cleared everything. Every cross that came in, he got on the end of it and made sure City players weren't getting on the end of these crosses. Even the bad ones he was clearing. And I felt Colwell as well. You could see the way he celebrated one of his crosses that was blocked. He was just fucking giving it one of them. You know, they were out to get that result today. And I felt like a point, hence the title, is the least that Chelsea deserved. And I'm not pulling my punches there. You know me, I try and keep it as positive as possible, but you got to call it for what it is. Call a spade, mate, because that was well off our paces today, creatively. Well off our paces, and we need to turn it round going into the latter stages of the season now with more than 10 games to go. What is it now? I don't know. Is it 14 games to go? Is it 13 games to go? 12 games to go? Can't remember now. 12 games to go. Maths is terrible. We need to get a kanji on the stream to work that out. But still, really infuriating. It really is. And I've totally ignored the chat. As usual, I always ignore the chat during these match reactions. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sammy was in there nice and early. Nightcrawler, I read your comment as I was waiting, looking at how clinical Liverpool and Arsenal have been lately and how many goals they're scoring every game. This game definitely will hurt us so much moving forward. Perfectly articulated there, mate. Spot on. And you followed up with another one. 29 shots, only 1 goal. This is abysmal. I agree, mate. I totally agree. Issa, Adam, Manchester Blue, Jules, Luch, M Chief, and Healthy Tips, Devious. Devious was in the chat as well. Enjoyed your chat in there, mate. Sufyan Big Morgan, MJG Window Cleaning, Big M, Tuna, City Blew It, Akanji Shite. I'm not convinced about Akanji Shite, but yeah. That's another one. Why is Akanji in midfield? I know John Stones was rested for this game effectively. Perhaps on the screen right now. I wish I wasn't. With all due respect to you guys, I wish I was listening to what he was saying, to be honest, because I'm going to rewind that now to hear what he's got to say, because I feel like he might have got that one wrong today. Just there's a couple of players, mainly the Bernardo Silva absence. I felt like, why would you not play Bernardo Silva in this game? Beyond me. Give Bob a chance. All over it travels. Rendrex travels as well. We've got some travellers in the chat as well. AK, Vavara, Harlem, what the fuck was that? Yeah, mate. It was a bad miss. And I know people are going to look at some of the decisions as well. I'm looking at it now, like the Colwell handball. Not for me. You know, if you want outrageous reactions that are just not truthful, then you better go and watch Mark Goldbridge. Because, you know, he says whatever happens is the opposite to what happens on the screen. I'm honest. I want to be honest. You know, I'd rather walk away from a video with a little bit of credibility rather than changing my opinion and blowing with the wind. Do you know what I mean? Changing my opinion week on, week out. Quite similar to how the referees seem to change their opinion. So he's right on that, but with regards to his own opinion, he's exactly the same. But with regards to what happened on the pitch for Manchester City today, I felt like the referees got everything right. I don't feel like they got anything wrong. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I really don't believe there was anything drastically wrong from the referees. That handball from Colwill, his hand's by his side. Nah, not for me. Not for me. The one thing that I thought, Ben Chilwell manhandled Erling Haaland in the first half. That's the only one that I thought there's a bit of a penalty shout there, but Haaland wasn't going to get the ball anyway. I felt like the referee didn't do anything wrong today. I really don't. But it's a frustrating afternoon for City. It really is a killer blow. And I don't know, Petrovic was in goal as well. That was a point I made in the preview, that if Petrovic is in goal for Chelsea, then test him. Test him. I don't trust him as a goalkeeper. I don't think he's a great shot stopper. I think he's all right. From the small little window of opportunity to actually watch him be a goalkeeper, he's not impressed me. He's flappy. Shot stopping ability isn't great. But we didn't do it. We weren't even taking long shots. Do you know, we weren't even testing him from range, let alone close range. Nothing genuinely put him under pressure today. And that was another factor that really frustrated me about this game. Really did. Killer. It's a killer blow. Killer blow. Still Doku over Grealish. Mate. Probably not after that performance. I don't really want to swing my opinion too quickly like that, but I mean, it's hard to say. What's Grealish done this season? You know, the thing is, we're talking about Jack Grealish versus Doku a little bit too much. Right now, let's get behind Doku because Jack Grealish isn't there. So we have to get behind Jeremy Doku. He's not on the pitch, so we have to get behind him. But you're absolutely right. If you want to have a problem with Doku, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you because I'm agreeing with you. I think Jeremy Doku was nowhere near good enough today. Nowhere near good enough. But is there anything in that performance from Jack Grealish this season that would make me think Jack Grealish would have done a better job? I'm not convinced there is anything there because Gusto and Cole Palmer were double teaming Doku throughout that game. Throughout that game, I felt like he was, I don't know, he struggled, and he's not the only one. There's no one player that's to blame for this. No one player. You know, there's a couple of standout negative performances. But I think, you know, that the wide play of Foden, Doku, De Bruyne was quite often found himself. He was taking all the corners. How many corners were just wasted? And just infuriating. Just infuriating. It really is. I'm just looking at that now. They're looking at the footage of the Spurs game for some reason and just how susceptible we are on the counter-attack. They're showing the Spurs first goal that made it 1-0 as well, which, again, you're just seeing two City defenders sprinting back towards our own goal, you know, and then now they're showing the Newcastle game. Yeah, there's a theme. The Sky Sports have cottoned onto it now, 24 games into the season? Well done, you're sharp. We've been seeing this all fucking season. It's nothing new. Nothing new. City have been open all season at the back. All season. And that Isaac goal was almost a carbon copy of the bloody Sterling one today. It really was. Really was. Oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say any more other than repeating myself, to be honest. The Mad Hatter, good to see you, mate. Love KDB, but corners ain't his thing. That's the thing with Kevin De Bruyne. His stats, he's not a stat man. Kevin De Bruyne, if you're a stat man, which I'm not, I'm someone who enjoys a stat every now and again, but I do like to prefer the eye test on a footballer. And Kevin De Bruyne destroys statistics. He destroys them. He makes them irrelevant. Because he like I said, he had 22 crosses today. 8 of them were accurate crosses. I guarantee his passing percentage will... I'll tell you right now, in fact. Let's have a look at Kevin De Bruyne's stats. Okay, he's got a 79% passing accuracy. That's too low. That's low on paper. But when Kevin De Bruyne gets it right, fuck me, does he get it right. Do you know what I mean? It kills defences. That's De Bruyne's game. He will give it away. He'll give it away. He'll give it away. He'll give it away. And then one pass... What the hell was that? That pass, just like no one in the world saw that pass. That was a pass from Mars. That was an alien pass. A human being shouldn't be making that pass. Kevin De Bruyne's vision is through the roof when he sees it. And when he gets it right, you're done. You're finished. That's Kevin De Bruyne. And that's why he's not a stat man. These stats will destroy Kevin De Bruyne. And you know what? He's got an 8.1 score rating right now, which is beyond an understanding. That's not fathomable. Honestly, I'm really, really frustrated. I really am. And gutted that we've handed the chance over to Liverpool and Arsenal, who are very much going to take this confidence now and run with it. Going to run with it. Liverpool have got a League Cup game to worry about next Sunday. That's a really good fixture for City, that is, because that's a real hindrance as well. If they go and win a trophy, though, the confidence that will add to the confidence that they already have going forward will be huge. Huge. But if they drop points, it's a final. If they don't win the final against Chelsea, that'll kill their confidence. I really believe that. And not only that, they're not playing Premier League football. So if they were to lose that final while watching Manchester City hopefully beat Bournemouth, which is the game we're playing during that weekend, swings and roundabouts could start to take place in this season. It's going to make for an incredibly entertaining season for the neutral. But City are very much in a 3-horse title race, which I don't think we've ever been in. It's always been one and someone else. It's never been a 3-horse title race. And I was very much hoping they would eat each other while we cruised to the title. And we were on course for doing that, to be honest. With 11 wins in a row, I felt like we were going to make it 12 today, but not to be. Chelsea have taken 4 points off Manchester City this season. 4 points. And it's a frustrating one. Piplup, thanks for the super chat, mate. Appreciate that. I think Doku has been terrible since his injury. It's hard to disagree. Terrible's a harsh word. I wouldn't say terrible, but he's certainly not delivered quite to the standards that he was delivering before his injury. Nowhere near it. And I think De Bruyne has come back from his injury and hit the ground running, but today we saw a real lacklustre performance from Kevin De Bruyne. I just thought his output just was never there. He got it right once, didn't he? Once in the whole game. That ball into Haaland on a plate. On a plate. They switched off. That one moment you switched off, Chelsea. They switched off in Haaland's space, edge of the 6-yard box. De Bruyne, you didn't even need to jump. And he, boom, over the bar. Haaland's heading is something that's not filling me with confidence, because he had about 3 or 4 opportunities today to head it, all of which were just like, whoa, 50p head. Unbelievable, unbelievable. But I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted, deflated. And the only thing I'm happy about is I've got a chicken fried rice in the fridge waiting for me that I can't wait. I can't wait to eat it. Other than that, shit. What a shit day. What a shit day. But Blues will bounce back. Will bounce back. A point at the end of the day. That's actually a positive, considering how the game panned out. And I need to remind people that I'm pleased with the point. I'm pleased with the point. Because I felt like, could have gone horribly wrong today. Horribly wrong. And Chelsea missed some big opportunities to make it 2-0. And thankfully, we've come away with a point. So I'm really pleased with that. And I'm really pleased with the chat. Again, thanks for joining me in this. I'm always so rubbish at interacting in the chat. I'm much more interactive with you guys during the watch along because I have a better opportunity. There's not some forthright outpouring of emotion that I'm struggling to deal with. During the watch along, it's a lot easier to talk to you guys. But come and join me for the watch along against Brentford. It's going to be a good one. Hopefully a more enjoyable one from a Manchester City perspective. We're going to win that game at the Etihad. Surely. Come on, Blues. We're going to turn this round. Feels bad. We've got to swallow the pill. Swallow the pill today. Get on with it. Move forward. Let's go again. We're going to beat Brentford, Bournemouth. Back to winning ways. Go on another winning streak run, hopefully. Bag ourselves a trophy or 2, and it'll be nice. I won't say 3. You won't catch me saying 3. Because it's too unrealistic. But Blues, thanks again for joining me in this match reaction. Come and join me for the player ratings tomorrow, which I'll be doing. There are going to be some fucking harsh statistics being thrown about there. And numbers as well. It'll be interesting to see who did what and when and how and in what level of quality, and the detail will matter. And come and join me for the player ratings tomorrow. I feel like there's going to be some harsh ones. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Not a great day for City fans, but enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the next one.